Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. So my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing Jessica Aber. She was an attorney general from Virginia who sadly passed away in her home. And we're going to take a look and see whether or not there was some sort of red rum type of scenario. This is, again, welcome back to a murder mystery. It has been a revived series, so we are going to be doing some red rum series going forward. But I figured this might be a good time to discuss that. Now, this video is being recorded on none other than Thursday, March 27th at 11:52 p.m. 11:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as to when I am recording this specific video. I figured a lot of you guys will like the content that I am doing right now. I tried to go live earlier when I tried to do this video. Didn't go so well. I was watching myself on the YouTube channel to see how good the audio and the screen was. Not good. So I'm just going to keep pre-recording until I'm able to have access to my basement. And once I do, we will be going live sometime in the future. But as of right now, today's just not it. So I'm just going to go ahead. I already have the card spread already laid out. This was already from the live. I did not even get to start reading it. So there was that. But anyway, if you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, or engaging with the content in some formality. Help the channel out a lot and greatly. So thank you for all of you guys who have been doing just that. And this YouTube video is just for entertainment purposes only and for alleged purposes only as well. Anything I do or say is just for alleged. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. I really wanted to do a live to really have us break down this mystery, but it just didn't work out today, so I do apologize for that. Alright, so let's go ahead, let's begin, let's see what's going on here. I don't want to waste any more time. So the first card that we have here in reverse is the Four of Wands reverse. And the Four of Wands reverse is a very interesting card, because when I asked what happened with Jessica Aber, we have the home sense in reverse. And it's interesting because the home, when you think about your home, you think about like then being a safe. There's a safety net, feeling safe within your own region, having a safe space. She does not have that. She did not have that. Her home was not safe. That's why it comes in at the Four of Wands reverse. We also have here the Page of Wands, and I'm seeing a third eye image in my third eye, and I'm seeing like her going into her home, and then she sees some weirdo standing in her kitchen, or somewhere in her room, or wherever it is in her house or apartment, whatever she had. Because it's a blind reading. I'm seeing that she was kind of confused who and what they are. But it almost feels like as if the person has been waiting. They were like eating something. Almost like an apple. They were just waiting. And it's like at one of those scary movies where like someone's waiting in your kitchen and they're eating your food. And then they turn around and they're like playing with something. And then you're like, you don't know what to do because like at that point, you know, if they're willing to eat somebody's food that isn't even theirs and they're playing with a weapon, I mean, that's a little freaky if you ask me. So then I'm also getting like the vibe of like Terrifier the movie. We have the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Wands reversed. This is interesting because it talks about the struggle. Was there any attempt of a struggle? Doesn't seem like there was an attempt of a struggle. There was not even a fight. It almost feels like there was like someone giving up. Maybe this is talking about maybe that this person was in her home when she was not aware and she was poisoned via food. Because technically there is no fight here. There was no resistance to that. But there was somebody in her home because her home was not a safe space anymore. So someone was in her home. She did not even put up a fight or a fight of resistance. And the person fled the scene. We know they fled the scene because they had the same outfit. They fled the scene because they had the same outfit. So this person came in, poisoned her food, or where she didn't even know that this person was in her home, and then he fled. He fled the scene. So what happened was they poisoned the food, or something where there's the least amount of resistance. Maybe her sleeping. Maybe he went in when she was asleep and smothered her with a pillow. That worked just as much as anything else. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that type of energy here. We also do have on the end here, we do have darkness. She never wakes up. She never wakes up. So that's telling me here that there are two plausible outcomes here, either poisoning or suffocation. But it wouldn't be like physical suffocation. Like it would be like maybe stop having like a pillow over somebody. You won't know that they died and were killed. You will just see that they stopped breathing. Same thing. That's what it's telling me here. Like she never wakes up because there's darkness here. There's no light. Anything else? We have here, we have the Ace of Swords, followed by these 4 cards here. So the Page of Wands here, the individual coming in, he had a goal. His goal was to remove her from the physical plane. So to remove her from the physical plane. Here you have the Ten of Wands reversed, and then you have here, someone didn't walk away. There was no bully here. There was no attempt of a fight. So I wonder if this individual, again, is honing in on the idea that I don't think there was direct confrontation. I don't think there was. Now that I'm starting to understand it, there was no confrontation. Like this person was in a home playing with things and was doing it through the means of the path of least resistance. And here underneath you have the 7 of Wands here. She's been waking up every night for the past couple of nights prior to her death. We have here, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is divine timing. Was this supposed to happen? Okay, they're telling me no, it was not supposed to happen in a specific way, but it happened anyway. That's what they're telling me. And here you have is the 8 of Cups. He fled the scene. Whoever this was, he fled the scene. There was a time crunch. Okay, yeah. So not only that she had a certain amount of time left in her own life because of her soul contract, but it also is saying here that this individual had an idea. They wanted to remove her. That was the goal. Because this wand that he's looking at is the sword. He's looking at a sword. You know that he's looking at a sword because he's attempting to remove the king. Attempting to remove the king. That's the intent. The ten of Wands here reversed means the path of least struggle, right? And here you have the 5 of Swords reversed, which tells me there is no struggle, there is no fight, there was no battle that was taking place physically. Here you have it, the 7 of Wands here reversed, which means the Wheel of Fortune, which means time, the path of least resistance, because time is running out. It's also telling me as well this person had to move pretty quickly because they had a very certain time window to go in and do this and then get out and complete the mission. So there was somebody here who was on a mission or a goal of some sort. There was a mission here. But they had a very certain time crunch, which means that this person has been watching her and knowing her habits prior to her death. And underneath here, you have the Knight of Wands here, someone coming in, trying to flee the scene. Then you have here the 8 of Cups telling us here that she fled the scene. I mean, he fled the scene, or she. Could be both a guy or a girl. What else do you want to tell us? We have the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Swords reversed, the Ten of Swords. Then we have here the Page of Pentacles. He was looking for information. He got what he wanted. So this person was paid. So how do we know that they were paid? Well, here we have the Queen of Pentacles, which means the mission. What is the mission? What was the intent? This individual will be promised reward. We will be promised money or monetary sum. That's why they come in at the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles reversed is telling me that someone was paid to do this. Under all these, the path of least resistance, the goal is to remove the king, the incumbent, the person sitting on the throne, someone with more power and influence. You guys all know, if you have been with me for a while, this is my incumbency card. When this is outright, that means it's talking about the incumbent that's currently in office, or when they're not in office, or it might mean that they lose the seat or lose the power or whatever. It's reversed. This means that their goal was to take her out. That was the goal, and he was being paid, or she was being paid to do it. The next card that comes in is the Ten of Swords. Again, the mission was completed in a timely manner, which was success. It was the Ten of Swords here, betrayal. And then it's finalized by, after the fleeing of the scene, there was the Page of Pentacles. This person was rewarded monetary sum. So this person was rewarded. You kind of see the money wasn't promised. It was promised. It was kept. Promise kept. The bottom of the deck here, we have the Four of Swords. This is telling me also as well that they were trying to hold on to something. So whoever was doing this mission, who had a lot of money, they were trying to hold on to something from being released. And on the top, we have the Emperor. Somebody of high importance, someone of high influence. So she was doing something that was going to trigger a release of definite information. So they needed to stop her in her tracks before it got out. Here you would also have here with the Page of Pentacles, it's also telling me here that they also need to find information in a home. So they need to find information, they need to burn it. That's what I'm getting. We're going to take a quick look at the Kipper deck, because there is the coffin deck in here. So let's see, because the death card did not show up anywhere in the deck or the tarot deck, which is a little interesting considering the fact that it's a red rum. It talks about the intent and it being successful. So we know it was a success that they did this. Again, like I said, this video is just for life purposes only and for entertainment purposes only. But there was no tower moment. I don't see a tower anywhere. Didn't see a death. But here we do have the home. And at the top of the deck here is the fight. So the fight for the home. There was a fight that was going on legally, not a fight going on physically within the home. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's see what's going on here. Spirit Angels, tell me about this person, Jessica Aber, the Attorney General, former Attorney General of Virginia. She recently died in her home, her Virginia home. Can you tell us a little bit more information regarding that? And whether or not, what happened? If there's any more additional information. Okay, here you go, the coffin. So we know that she died. We know that. That's why it comes in as first. So that's the challenge, is how her death died, how it happened, her death. Let's see if these cards agree or disagree. Okay. So she was warned. She was warned. So there was a fall here. Someone took the fall. Here we have bad health. Okay. And here we have the privileged lady. A lot of women here, a lot of female, the privileged lady on top. Okay. So the first card that we got here is the coffin card, right? It tells us how she died. We'll tell us a little bit more information in regards to that. This is the coffin. And it's headed in the past. Because the past here, and this side here, is where the past is. That means she died already. That's in the past tense. In the future tense, there's information about a wealthy man. The wealthy man is coming in the future, which is why they collided together. So she collided with her death date, the date that she planned to die anyway, because that was in her soul contract per the previous part of this video. Because her death date was already coming up, it was agreed upon. The wealthy man collided accidentally and incidentally, and it led to her death, an untimely demise. Here, this wealthy man is coming in the future. The time is ticking. That's why you have the little time thing right there. The time is ticking. That is heading in the future tense. Now, what's also interesting as well is we have the message of concern. So she was being warned, whether that is the physically or the spiritually, because we kept saying how she kept waking up every night getting told that, oh, something's wrong here in her own home. She was told, she was warned. And she was warned because it had to do with I am. How do we know that? Because we have the red here. And the red symbolizes the root chakra. It symbolizes I am. I am in danger. Right? The red also means blood. The next card that comes in, she's in danger because of her occupation. Because of what role she took on. Because she led the light. She had a light. She knew something and she was almost just finished. She's almost finished sewing the products. She's almost done, which means that this person had a very time matter. They had to act pretty quickly. And because of all this, there was a false person who was involved in this. So this might be somebody who was close to her. It might have been somebody who, in some way, were trying to get information from her, or maybe trying to find out her lifestyle. Maybe they were trying to, maybe it was her husband. I don't know. Maybe in some way there was someone who was being paid. Because we know the motive is money. We know that there was a mission here to complete. And we know that now that this person is staying here, that there is somebody here who cannot be trusted, who was within her circle. Whether they were outside watching it from the window, or there was physically somebody involved actively in her life. But I'm getting information that had to do with her work. It had to do something with her work and her workspace. I'm getting told somewhat of a higher position of her rather than her current status. So just say she was a legal scholar, right? It would be the professor. Be someone a little bit above her. I'm getting told that it had to do with her occupation. So there's the false person. who was involved in her occupation in some way. So this was somebody who she came in contact with at her own job, at her own workplace. This was an occupation, a role that he took on in order to get to her. Here we also have high honor. So she did everything with integrity. She did a lot of things with integrity. That's something that she's going to be well known for, is integrity. Here in the future, though, she ended up left with nothing. Here's poverty. Poverty. And that comes in here at this card here because eventually she lost her life. That's the most valuable thing, is time. Time is the most valuable, and therefore she ends up in poverty because she lost that. And here on the top of the deck here, we have the privileged lady, the one who had the information, the one who had it all. And it had to do with a white house, a white glass house. You can see through in a greenhouse, right? That's where things grow. But even in a higher humidity, things can still survive. Some things can still grow. What's also behind this privileged lady is a mature male, immature man. So this person is very immature. This is somebody who, I'm getting told, like, it feels like this is somebody who is actively engaged in behavior that is with minors, is what it feels like. And here we have concern. Concern. And here's the light coming in here. The message of concern here. And then here's somebody who's concerned. They were concerned about what she knows, and they pay somebody off with unexpected income. So it seems to be on par with what we've been getting already. And here we have bad health. Unfortunately, she passed away at the bottom of the deck, and she was unable to get the court order, be able to put in forth the information that she found with the judicial in reverse. However, there was a message that was sent, and something's going to change because she was able to do something in advance. It almost feels like the message of concern that she got, she did things to be able to get the information out, because I think she knew she was going to die. But she knew that she was going to die, and because of that, there's a change coming. A change coming. The way people see this now won't be how they perceive it in the future. There's going to be a reopening of the investigation, and there's going to be information of people, specifically a male investigator, is going to investigate what happened. And he's going to particularly investigate a woman, a main female around her own life. Whoever was in her life, a male investigator is going to investigate a main female in her life. And because of that, this is going to put forth two figures, two suspects, the main male and the main female. Both are actually involved in this behavior. And because of that, will there be imprisonment? Probably not yet, because they're a lot bigger than one can think, and it has to do with a marriage or an agreement. So there was a marriage or agreement that is going to tie another group of people together with this information. They're going to bundle them up together. But it feels like she was aware that something was happening to her, so she might have listened to her subconscious and was able to be prepared to be able to send out the information. God forbid that she died, that they will be able to open the case sometime down the line. That's what they were looking for in her house. We were talking about them looking for something in her home, and well, it looks like they might have found it, but if that's the case, something else is going to be revealed from that, because I feel like there's a lot more to the story than what originally been told. So I would not be surprised if the investigation opens up sometime down the line and something gets exposed. And it's going to be because of her. Okay, so spirits and angels tell me about, did Jessica Aber know that she was going to die and make sure that she got certain information in the hands of the people that were trustworthy? Okay, we have the challenge here. What's the challenge? Change. This is the card. Remember, we're talking about information coming front and center, a big change that's coming in the future. When the male investigator opened up, we have the main female down. Right, on top of the deck here, we have the mature male upright. Now, someone comes into the future, because it says here the main female is gone. Right, she's dead. This is Jessica Aber. This is the mature man. Remember how we talked about the immature man? Someone of a younger providence, somebody who actively engages with minors. Well, here this is now him as a mature male. He's no longer immature man. He is a mature man. He has age. So this is time after when this event had taken place. Here you have the first two cards that came in as thoughts and courtship. So thoughts and courtship. This is interesting because we talked about here the investigator, the male investigator trying to look and actually reopen up the cave and him investigating. Okay? Interesting that these cards come in again. Then we have here unexpected income from a certain governmental building. There was a paid mission by a governmental agency, and it came from a governmental registered institution. So the government in some way has been actively involved in this aspect, whether that is they paid the investigator or they paid for the mission to be completed. Again, everything in this video is just for light purposes only. The bottom two cards here come in as despair and lover, which means that it feels like to me that there might have been someone who was close within her circle. There might have been someone who was close within her circle, and it had to be someone who was might have been in love with. Maybe she had an affair at a job or an office, but there was someone who considered her work husband or her work wife. They were not physically married, it doesn't feel like, but it feels like they were a peas in a pod, essentially. Here we have, in the past, but on the top, we have great fortune and distant horizon. There's no great fortune coming in distant horizon. Her future was coming toward an end anyway. Regardless of what would have happened, she would have gone. That was her purpose. That was her soul contract. It just happened to be that she collided, and it just happened to be on the same day. Otherwise, had it not, she would have survived. The next card here is we have the thief. They were trying to steal information. They were trying to steal information from the female. Here, it's being instituted by a wealthy man. But they used a poor man who was desperate for money in order to complete the mission. And by doing that, this person evades imprisonment. So it feels like to me, if anything, they're going to find a suspect, but this person is not going to be the one who is the one who orchestrated it. They're going to find the one who did the crime, do the time, but they're not going to find the man who paid it off. He gets away, while the person who did it is the one who gets hammered. It's interesting that the main female reverse, what's behind the main female, we have bad health. You can't make this stuff up, and high honor, right? Honoring her. I don't think she was buried yet. Top of the deck here, we have the mature man, followed by the official person, so someone of a governmental ranking, like we said, and we have here the child. He's no longer immature, like I said, and there was some sort of expectations or goal that he wanted to carry out. I needed to ensure that the community approved of him because he needed to make sure that the fault person was the one who fault. So that's what I'm getting for her information here. I don't see anything else, so we are going to leave it as is. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Spirit? Nope, they're telling me that's good. Now, if you guys are wondering what it looks like in the back, I'm going to move so you guys can see it. And in the meantime, have a great night. Happy Easter to all of you. Well, way too early for that. But anyway, I designed the whole back, so I'm going to move so you can see it.